Last week, we talked about how rushing around constantly results in the need for us to pause, shift gears, and warm up for our practice with more than just our muscles in mind. This week, we're going to discuss some of the ways in which we can help our nervous systems recharge during yoga. I find a lot of people wear smartwatches, and that's great, to track workouts, keep an eye on your steps, etc. I have a watch, and I do use it from time to time, but sometimes I feel like it's a lot healthier for me to disconnect from it, especially when I'm practicing yoga. Everyone has their own policy on cell phones, for their studio. Some people need to have their phone nearby due to personal situations, and I think that should be respected. But the space and other people should also be respected. So it's important to find a good balance and boundary for these types of situations, a good respectful rule for everybody. And that's true of the yoga teacher as well. I went to a seminar for massage therapy, and the presenter said, now this is way before smartwatches were really a thing, and I honestly can't even remember what year it was, but I remember this specifically. The message was that when you were in a session, you should answer the phone call to schedule other clients. And that really sticks in my head because I have never taken a call that was not some sort of emergency phone call while I was in a session. And I think that's for me personally, that's true of teaching yoga also. I think mindfulness plays into how our nervous systems have kind of become programmed over the years. And I think that it's important to recognize that we as teachers should have these rules also. We should try to really be present. And I think most of us do our best, but it's important to remember, right? I think mindfulness plays into how our nervous systems have become programmed. If we're in the moment, our brain, which is part of our central nervous system, is not generally overwhelmed. This concentration allows us to focus on our breathing and not necessarily those secondary respiratory muscles in our neck and upper shoulders we use when we're stressed, right? To use those actual deeper muscles, the diaphragm, the intercostals, right? The rib muscles, and to breathe with intention. Yes, our autonomic nervous system takes care of that, but when we really practice pranayama and we really practice yoga, we're very mindful of our breath. We're in the moment, we're in the breath, we're paying attention, right? And when we focus on challenging poses, we have to pay attention. And I think that's part of the beauty of yoga. We need to be present, and if we're not, we're going to figure it out pretty quickly. Part of what I do is I kind of challenge myself for more challenging poses for my body. And of course, the warm-up and everything is part of this. And a challenging pose will be different for everybody. If someone struggles with balance, a single leg mountain, or simply being in mountain pose and closing their eyes might be a challenge. But for someone else, maybe that's crow pose, right? But when we kind of look inward and reflect a little bit and we really kind of bring our attention to our awareness, I think that we can use that aspect of yoga positively in all aspects of our lives, in and out of the studio.